Am I playing?
Peace, everybody. Welcome to another Elements, another Four Elements episode. I'm Wind.
I'm water.
Earth. I'm fire.
And tonight's show is Healthy is the New Cool. Tonight we're going to talk about health and well-being for our community. And tonight we have a very special guest, Sarah Davis from the Wellness Queens. And I'll just pause right there and I will have her come up and then we'll rock and roll from there.
Peace, everybody. Good night, Elements.
Peace.
How are y'all doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Great.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Well, I thought you would have done a little intro. But anyhow, I'm Saran Davis. I'm the owner of the Wellness Queens. It's a business that's based in Antigua, but I do offer products and services to the U.S. market as well. My expertise, I guess you should say, it's herbalism, natural nutrition, and that type of thing. I'm very passionate about it. In the Wellness Queens, we offer, several different tiers underneath of what I do. And one being my Herb Box, which is a natural vagina care line. And then we also have the King's version to it, which is woodwork. And also we do Plant Power Detox, which is a very popular and super effective 14-day detox challenge that, in terms of our focus at the moment is kind of on that mostly because of the interest that has been generated here and also in the US as well. So that's a brief overview. I also do jewelry as well, handmade jewelry. I do art and that type of thing also. So that's pretty much an overview. In terms of how I got started, I definitely was never on this path when back in the moon days. I was on a path to becoming a lawyer, and then I had a best friend at the time who was actually a practicing lawyer, and he lived in another country and he was murdered. Fast forward, I went to the funeral, and to see the outpouring of love from his community, seeing the placard saying "Rest in peace, poor people lawyer" and that type of thing, it definitely made a significant impact on my life. It definitely showed me that, law is good and I'm doing law because, I could write, I could argue, and it definitely wasn't a passion. I knew for sure it wasn't my purpose. And so fast forward the year after that, I'm trying to navigate what I'm going to do with an LLB. And I went to visit my aunt, who at the time was battling cancer, and that completely shifted my entire paradigm. I became very focused on natural health. I think after losing her, my question was very simple. If we're trying to fight cancer, why are we eating cancer-causing foods? And since that time, I've been on this trajectory. And so this is what I do. I know it's my purpose. And I want to thank you guys for having me tonight.
You're quite welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm.
So what is wellness to you and why is it important to you to impact and transform the community?
Okay, well, where should I begin? Wellness, now there's a difference. A lot of people don't tend to differentiate between health and wellness. Wellness is what I do. Wellness is what I love. Health is the state of your body, but your wellness is the state of your being, and so you can be sick in terms of your health, but you can still be well at the same time. So my focus is on allowing us to experience a very pleasant state of being. So that's what I do. And so it's beautiful to watch the transformations that take place when we focus on the natural approach, or I should say original medicine, and to see the changes that you can actually have in somebody's body. And so it's something that, because you see the results, it definitely keeps you focused. And yeah, so I absolutely love it. And in terms of making an impact on the community, I mean, there's no time like present where the need is so urgent and so pressing. We are suffering as a people, especially with our physical health. I know I'm based in Antigua in the Caribbean, but at the same time, there are so many things that are common between what takes place here and what takes place there. Diabetes, hypertension, different issues like that. It's just across the board in the diaspora. So we're suffering, and for that reason, wellness is very key.
Sarah, I want to take a step back because I think what's equally important to having a distinction between wellness and health. I love what you said. I'm gonna just repeat it real quick for the elementals. Wellness is the state of your body. I'm sorry, health is the state of your body, whereas wellness is the state of your being. That's deep. I wanted to go back and see if you can unpack for us and make a distinction between this, because we're passionate about a lot of things, and you're probably a super talent. I can tell you're a super talented human being, and so you have a lot of things that you're good at, a lot of things that you can do. If you applied yourself, you could be great at a bunch of different things. Like, how did you know that you knew that that this wellness space was not only a space where I can do this, I can help, I can add value to my people, versus like, this is why I'm here. This is my contract. This is my divine assignment. Make that distinction for us.
Well, I don't want to get too deep, but in terms of spiritual confirmation, I definitely got that in a very profound way. Working with people who are ill, sometimes, you can absorb some of it, and there are different downloads or whatever you might call it. But yeah, my experience was so profound that there was no questioning it. None. There's no way I could think I'm good at art, I can write, I can do all kind of thing, and that's probably my purpose. It was very, very clear, very distinct from everything else that I do well. And so yeah, for everybody it really differs, but I know for me it came through like a huge download, and let's just leave that there.
Got you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So what does wellness mean to you, Fire?
Without stealing Saren's definition, I would have said it is the measure of my total state of being. I would say that it's a comprehensive assessment of all that I am, material and immaterial. And I will leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Earth?
I would agree with Fire. I mean, wellness for me is like my whole being, mental, physical, spiritual, and for me, is the key is being able to manage that as I navigate through life. I mean, to me, that's key. How do I manage that? How do I maintain it? I mean, it's important, but how do I manage? Because things come up which will challenge, for me, things come up that challenge my wellness. And so how do I overcome those challenges? It could be overwhelmed. That's a challenge to your wellness. Any stressful situation is a challenge to your wellness. Any time that there's anxiety, challenge to your wellness. Anytime that there's illness, it's a challenge to your wellness. So how do I navigate life when those challenges come up against my wellness? So that's my.
Have anything to add, Water?
Yeah, I would say that wellness to me is synonymous with my life. You guys know all about me and my dabblings and how serious I take it. So I take it very serious. I think that everyone's added something really powerful, but for me, it's literally without wellness, I have no life. I listened to this one guy. He's his name's Barry Long, but he basically gives the body. He gives this. He has this weird teaching or whatever. But one of the fascinating things that he talks about is that the body is synonymous to an astronaut being in outer space. So he calls the body the life suit. And without the life suit, you can't survive. You know, without a spacesuit in outer space, you can't survive in outer space. And without a life suit, you can't survive here on planet Earth. So to me, I agree with everything that everyone said. And I just take it a step further to say, for me, I look at wellness as my life.
Yeah. And I see wellness, you know, from a holistic standpoint, you know, like you guys are referring to, mind, body, soul, and spirit. You know, I think that many of us, especially men, Black men, we neglect wellness in the capacity of healthy relationships, healthy friendships, healthy, you know, romantic relationships, you know, being social, you know. I think that wellness is also being fiscally or financially responsible and having your affairs in order. Wellness is self-care. You know, a lot of women take good care of themselves. They go get pedicures and manicures. They go get massages. They get peace of mind. They meditate. They do yoga. But many of us as Black men, we neglect these things, or we, you know, are off, you know, making money and playing sports or doing whatever, and not necessarily doing that. Wellness is, you know, traveling and having fun, you know, like Water likes to promote here, you know, really being happy, you know, and satisfied. Wellness is eating properly, nutrition, working out, things of that sort. What do you think are some of the deficiencies that are in the community, Sharon, that we really need to deal with?
Wow, that's a loaded one. It's so much, you know. The reality is we eat unconsciously. We truly do. We have an addiction to foods that were never made for us to even eat. We also have an attachment to snacking. Everybody, you know, even as adults, we're just always snacking on something. We don't, like you mentioned, the way in which we approach our relationships can be described as very toxic as well. We don't move our bodies. We have, you know, become a very sedentary society, and we're paying for it. So there are very, you know, countless ways that you can pinpoint that in terms of the holes in what we do, that avoids us from maintaining a proper balance on our wellness. A lot, you know.
I would add to that and say, just again, y'all know me. I'm always gonna put myself in the hot seat. Always, got to make it stick. So, some of you may know that I was sick. I had COVID. Got the vid, guys. The vid caught up to me, and Wind and Sarah were instrumental in helping me get back on the mend in my particular situation. And you know what? I didn't share this with Wind yet, Sarah. So you're hearing this for the first time right now. Since we spoke, I'm gonna do my best to articulate what has transpired. Besides getting better faster, I think something happened at the cellular level where I'm now hyper conscious to how I feel after I eat something. It was almost like my palate was reset. there was like a reset, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what happened is I can no longer eat the stuff that I used to eat, like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Full disclosure, I was feeling better, had a stressful day at work. I decided to treat myself. Still got a cough, but I had a stogie and I had some Elijah Craig, that good old whiskey, my bourbon, my whiskey and my stogie. My wife is my witness. I literally began to vomit. My body, like I'm like, there's my cells are screaming at me, dude. We can't do that. Like, not because we can't do it, but because we don't like it. And we've been telling you that we don't like it your whole life, and you're so, I will say spiritually, I'm gonna say spiritually dead, because we can't say the other word that Earth used before the call, before we got water on. Just like disconnected from my mind and body and soul. There's a disconnect. So when Wynn talks about like the root of it, to me, for me, even though there was some knowledge, come on, I know how to. I had nutritionists in for years in my life. Like, I know the do's and the don'ts from that perspective, but knowing I had no access to like actually being, knowing intellectually, I didn't have any access to being well, and treating myself with the knowledge or the knowing of somebody who's being intentionally healthy, or who's pursuing that. So I wanted to share that with you. Something happened. I can't eat what I used to eat. The stuff I used to enjoy is literally making me like. My wife is like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yo, I can't. I literally, my body's saying, dude, we can't. The sugar, the refined sugar, the snacking, the cigars, the liquor, like it literally makes me sick." What is that? What happened? What'd you do?
It's the juju. That's what it is.
It's my favorite pastime, and this is disgusting.
But your body will thank you, and your family as well.
This is true.
No, but odd enough, I did a raw food challenge with a group that ended on Friday. And just this morning, one of the queens called me and she said, I cannot even get cooked food down anymore. Sometimes when you really treat your body a particular way and your body enjoys what you're doing to it, it rejects what the norm was and what it no longer wants. So ride with it, love it.
Listen, I'm down 37 pounds, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Scribbling away there. I look all small.
In what span of time?
That's 6-7 weeks.
Oh wow. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
7 weeks. It's
Can
all
you imagine what he would be doing on your detox program, Sarah?
Look, hello.
Tell everybody about your detox program.
So the detox program is 14 days. I call it a 14-day challenge. It's fully plant-based. You get all of your herbal supplements. Now, when I think about detox, I differentiate myself from most detox on the market because my attention isn't just on cleaning your colon. To position your body to really release toxins, you have to do much more than just target your colon system. And so it's a complete box where you get your anti-inflammatory capsules, you get capsules to support your liver and your kidneys, you get your rise and shine tea in the morning, so in total you get roughly 19 different supplements that you're expected to take. I know it sounds a little extensive, but I can guarantee you it's just enough. And it's that way because we have shifted so far away from our natural use of herbs. And so the detox box is very deliberate at reintroducing the things that we used to consume as a people that we no longer focus on. And so also, if you're on island, you also get workout sessions, you get hiking included as well. You definitely get a handbook that details not specifically what you're expected to eat, but it gives you suggestions. So you can pick and choose based on your likes and things like that. And so a huge part of it, which is also very different from most programs, you also have to do emotional work. So it's not just about the physical body. I'm a huge advocate that we're not just physical beings. And so when you're doing a detox, oftentimes you'll notice that, some of our physical ailments are really based in emotional baggage. And so there's focus on that as well. The men tend to, oh, I'm not ready to tap in, but it's a huge, huge part of the way in which we release things. Of course, being a detox program, you can definitely anticipate cleaning your colon very well. We're constipated as a people, very, very constipated. We're constipated emotionally, physically. For us to even imagine that we're eating foods every day, we're having breakfast, we're having lunch, we're having dinner, and you're not having a bowel movement that day. And we have normalized this type of condition so much, my body doesn't do that. No, you have a situation that you need to address. And it starts with you examining the foods that you're actually eating. Because when you eat natural foods know what to do in the body. It comes, it nourishes, and then it exits. But the problem is we have been bombarding the system with so many flours or pastries or breads that essentially creates a glue inside of the body. So everything is just clogged and sluggish. So anyhow, I do talk feces a lot. So let me leave that there. In the detox as well, there's a lot of focus also on eliminating parasites. I know some persons think that, we don't have parasites and that kind of thing, or it's a third world thing. And that I can assure you that when you do a deep cleanse and you really clean your body out, you will more than likely pass parasites, especially if you're diligent at looking in the toilet. Yeah, so that's an overview of what it is. Like I said, it's mind, body, soul. So it's not just focused on just the physical body. You are expected to do emotional work as well.
Sarah, you look a little too happy when you talk about feces.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm sorry. I'm
trying to contain myself.
You're trying to keep it down. Like, I can see that whole thing. I'm like, man, wow. It's about to get a little awkward here, guys.
But,
like, look, I got a sample right here or something. Like, whoa.
No, the funny thing is that we have adjusted our mindset about what comes out of us so much so that some of us go to the bathroom and we don't look back. Why? It came from inside of you. It was a part of you. And we struggle just to look at it. And it tells you so much about your wellness. It tells you how well your body is actually digesting your foods. You can literally, there's some things that you can eat today, and if you see it tonight, you're on target. However, if you see it 4 days from now, you're in a little issue, And so it tells you a lot. So that's why, water look back.
Sarah, I've got to get you on the phone with my wife. She swears because some Western doctor, Shakur or somebody, told her when she was a youngster that it was perfectly normal. Everybody's body is different. And, if it takes you 2 weeks after eating 3 times a day to do your business, then, don't be so hard on yourself. That, you just have you have a slow situation. And I'm like, dang, I don't care. I'm not a doctor, okay? But I know that if you eat 2 to 3 times a day for 14 days,
gosh, Lord,
and you only dropping kids off at the pool once.
Oh man, I don't know.
I'm just saying, there's so many other ailments going on that I think personally that's connected to the diet. I think it's a function of overall wellness. And I think that if you had a consultation with her and y'all got deep into some stuff, that you may find and discover some things that I hope that she would take on, because it's so different. Like Earth was talking about before we started the show, how these shows really wake me up, because there is a whole world, a universe of thoughts that we think that we know. Even if we were good students and we accomplished some things in the world, we have we have no clue. We're just like scratching the surface. As a matter of fact, we've been grossly miseducated, and I can't get through to her because I don't have an MD. So maybe you can talk to her and we can get. I'll do the cleanse. We'll both do it together, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll let you know how it goes. So please tell us how we can find it.
But bro, before she does that, this is gonna be like as soon as your wife calls Saren and says, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this feces situation," it's gonna be like a 7-hour conversation, bro. Like it's gonna be like, I mean, it's gonna like
that's very possible,
bro. It's gonna be hours long. Okay,
hours.
You know, Saren's gonna go into the history of how it all began.
You'll get in the color,
future, the past, the present, and the future.
The notion that we can say that that's normal, you know, really, when we think about it, remember, it's not as if the food is being stored in the refrigerator. Let's just talk real. It's in a hot environment, so it's putrefying. You know, it's literally rotting inside of you, and that's supposed to be okay and not affect your entire body. I mean, just the idea that that's normal is bizarre to me. Very, very bizarre. In and out, that's what it was supposed to do. It's the end of the digesting process. And so if you're not completing the process, we have a problem. But it is so common. You know, I know a lot of people. In fact, I remember doing consultation with a woman, and she says her first day of her cycle, that's the only time she dumps. That's it.
Courtney,
so once a month.
Do you hear this? This is
once a month. And I mean, it makes a difference with how you feel. Remember, this is still energy. It's waste inside of you. So there's no way you can function and feel your best with, 10 days worth of putrefying food in your body.
Wow. It's so bad in the West, Saren, that people who go once a month, twice a month, they make fun of people who go every day.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you're sick. You're disgusting. I'm disgusting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's inside of you. For you, it's in the toilet.
Right.
But for you, it's inside of you. It's not as if you're not eating. You're eating as well. And so, the focus really needs to be on elimination. A lot of medical doctors taught that, disease really starts in the colon. And if you entertain that possibility, you're in trouble if you have backed up waste there for days on end. It just, and the truth is, that's not how we were created to function. It's not as if you have to push your body to do something abnormal to go every day. When we look at babies, that's exactly what they do. Why is it that it's a crisis? Oh, my baby hasn't gone to the bathroom today, and it's trouble, and the woman would get into different positioning for the baby in order for them to release. But as adults, we somehow think it's okay. But when we really just think about it, you don't have to have a medical degree or anything to just think about your body in terms of natural functioning, in and out. It's just balance,
Well, since Saren set it off, with this whole like deuce conversation, fire. I'm gonna call you out right now because you don't want to drink my little green smoothie. Remember, you came over to my house. You didn't want to drink my green smoothie. Let's get on that. Let's get you. You like to get it personal. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Let's talk about this.
The only reason why I didn't drink it is because you had a $17 oyster blender that didn't really mince the raw goods up like a vitamin.
Bro, we got the Vitamix. That was not the oyster. That was the Hamilton Beach or something.
What'd you say, Fire? He needed a Vitamix?
I need a Vitamix, bro.
I got the Vitamix now.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Nah.
Too late.
Dude, you're not in.
Too late.
You dead to me. You
I
dead
did
to
drink
me.
some of it. It just got put a green apple or something in there.
Nah, man, it was. You forgot, dude. My green smoothie is tasty, dude. Did the little remember the caramel things that I gave you guys, dude? I'm all about good food, and some of it's not healthy. Remember the little caramel things that you and Earth were munching on?
Turtle doves.
Yes.
The
Praline joints.
praline. Bro, you know what? What happened was last time you made me the green smoothie. Do you really remember what happened?
I think you went in like, yeah, you went and blew the lid off my bathroom door or something. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly that's the real reason. It wasn't the blender. That's the real reason. Because I did have a good blend. I didn't have a Vitamix back then, but I had a decent blend. I forgot what it was.
It was an
But
Oster. It was an Oster. Something like that.
Yeah.
10
It
minutes
was,
though. So that means my stuff is good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. My body is doing
when you drink the green smoothie and water's green
There you
smoothie.
go.
So since you went there, Water, what's in your green smoothie?
Spinach, apples, carrots, banana, and then the triple berry mix, mango, and ginger. So I put that in there. Then I blend that up, and then I put in whey and flax, chia seeds, and some collagen peptides. Bam!
You using water? You using milk?
Nah, I don't drink milk at all. I do water. Yeah, I do dairy. I just don't do milk or I don't do much cheese or milk. I do yogurt.
Milk.
Nah, I just do water. It's enough, dude. The apples and bananas are enough to sweeten it up, and the berries. So you don't really need anything like milk or anything. It's good with water. Yeah.
You gonna give us that link or what, Sarah?
What's that?
Yeah, the detox link.
Detox.
Oh, absolutely, guaranteed.
Yeah, we'll post it down in the description so that everybody can get a link.
So
to
it's
it.
Actually at the top of the chat on YouTube. It's the wellness.
Yeah, but for the people who are going to watch
link.
after, they probably want to see the link.
Yeah,
that way they can just get to it quick.
Definitely.
Hey, can you pull Melvin Walters' comment to the stage? Because I want to ask Saren a question regarding what Melvin is pointing out here. So
this one right here.
Yep. And so we got Water. For those of you who don't know, Water had his own garden. I mean, this dude was composting. He was burying all of his waste. He was literally not the sarin waste. He's talking about the banana pills and stuff like that.
No, I think Water did have an outhouse, man.
Exactly. Sarin to get Sarin starts bro, you gotta talk about, you gotta distinguish here because she hit the word waste, anything in that realm, dude. She's on it.
Straight to feces.
Yeah.
And so he used to after he would eat, he would have a shovel. He had a shovel and would go out
compost
and dig holes and bury the stuff. Yeah, it was awesome. Fertilizing his vegetables that he was growing organically. I don't know what you did, Water, to keep the bugs off, but here's the comment. So I'm looking for some commentary from Saren and you, Water. Earth, I can't remember. I know you got all kinds of animals. You basically are like old McDonald with a farm. I don't know if you had a garden too.
Old McDonald over here.
Old McDonald.
Nice.
You got chickens and bats and all kinds of stuff. Guinea pigs. So Melvin says we must also keep in mind that even the so-called organic stuff is genetically modified.
That's true. That is true. And well, let's touch on genetic modification a little bit. I don't know what it is about humanity. We have somehow convinced ourselves that we can keep improving stuff. We can make it better. It's already existing, but we can improve upon it. And so we do different things. And now let's also remember that there's a difference between grafting and genetic modification. In terms of the I've seen people in the supermarket, you're selling organic watermelon, yet it's seedless. How do we reconcile these things? I mean, organic is supposed to mean very, very close to the original. You know what I mean? And once we've tampered with it, nutritionally, it's not going to be the same. So we know that the seeds in the watermelon, they do have a function. And once we remove it, because we're either unwilling to bite the seeds, or we're no longer willing to spit them out. We have compromised more than just the convenience of eating the food. We have compromised the nutritional benefits that come from having those things in the fruit or the vegetable as nature intended. As long as we keep straying and straying from the original, we have yet to improve anything. That's the truth about it. We might have been able to grow it quicker, in order to capitalize on financial gains. But outside of that, nutritionally, we have never really improved anything. And so the closer we stay to the original source is going to be, the better for us as a people. The GMO thing, I mean, for all the seedless fruits, our fruits are supposed to have seeds. And if they don't, you're not messing with an original or a truly natural fruit anymore. That's just what it is. And I mean, we have a lot of correction to do. And sadly, there's a lot that you have to contend with when you go to the supermarket. Is this, is that, it's almost like you're forced to do research. You have to have your phone, you have to Google. And the reality is, food isn't supposed to be complicated. It's supposed to be very, very simple. But even our emotional attachment to food plays a huge role in the way in which we select. We're no longer selecting foods in order to give us energy, to maintain our bodies, to do our functions for the day. We're eating oftentimes for pleasure. And that quest for pleasure is an emotional thing that we definitely need to address. Why? Why are you looking for pleasure every day through your foods? And what work can you do to make that a situation of the past? And that's, we're just not willing to do that anymore.
I'll defer to Earth. Earth is in the current state of he's in the current state of he's in the gardening phase, and he's got a farm. He's got animals and everything. So Earth, get in there, man. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean she's absolutely correct. And to Melvin's point, you have to look at your packaging to see which organization certified this food as being organic. If it's the FDA, you can throw it in the trash. I mean, this is really. So there's two other major organizations that certify organic food. If you look at the requirements of the California Food Organic Association, I forgot the name of it, and there's one in Oregon. If you look at their requirements for organic food, it's very stringent. And if you put up against the FDA's requirements, you'd be like, wait a minute, hold up. And if you look at your packaging, you can be fooled and think that something is organic, but the word organic won't be there. It will read organics, plural. And people will just go off and think it's organic food. Mm-hmm. And so you can label it as organics. That's easy to do. And they're not saying that it's really organic. It contains organic, some things maybe or not, but so we have to look at labeling, how food is actually labeled, and especially look at what association actually certified this particular food item as being organic, and then that tells you, what this particular grower or this company had to comply to in order to get that certification. So I definitely agree with Melvin and what he said. I just wanted to give it a little more context. You have to be careful even with that stuff. Now I'll say, no, somebody's gonna say something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I'll say, I raise my own chickens, and my neighbors are used to them now. Have a rooster back there. I don't hear it anymore, and they probably don't hear it anymore either. And but my chickens are gangster. I'll explain that some other day. They are truly gangster. I promise you.
Hey, Earth.
When I have a chicken, the new chicken gets jumped in. Literally, they beat him up. If it doesn't fight back, if the chicken doesn't fight back, I'll get up the next day and the chicken is like, it's out. Literally, it happens every time. The only chickens who survive out of my original 5 chickens are the ones who fight back. And they have to fight all of them, not just one. They have to fight all of them and ferociously fight. If they don't, it's going to be over for them. Never fail. So chickens are gangster. So, but yeah, and I do have a garden. And so, you know, I was sitting with my elders one day, and it's just, I just really hope that people get an opportunity to sit with an elder in a traditional sense who has not necessarily been tainted by Western thought. They still have like this original way of thinking and living. And I was sitting with my elder one day, one of my elders, and we were talking about food. And he said to me, he said, you know, human beings only started getting sick when they started eating sick animals and sick plants. Prior to that, he said, illness at all. And so in the West, we eat a lot of sick foods, and you can't get life, quote unquote, from death, meaning death is something that's been overly processed. Or if you eat meat, you know, for example, if you sit your meat out all day, you just throw it in the trash by the end of the day, really. But if you go and you get that particular animal that day and you process it, you can let it sit out all day long. I've done it. And you come back, I did it by mistake. I came back and I was like, oh shit, left that chicken on the counter. You know, after I processed it and I smelled it, it smelled the same way it did earlier in the day. And so because we have to get the food that we buy out of the grocery store is actually weeks, if not months old.
Yeah.
So that's why when you sit it out, it's already at a state where, you know, if it sits out for a few hours, it's a wrap. It already starts to smell. If it's fresh, there's no problem with that at all, zero. And I've actually done that myself, you know. So it's not. And I've sat there and I've watched. You know, I have some elders who, well, they passed away. One was 121, the other was 120, one's 110, and they look like they're like 75 or something like that. And it's because of the fact that they eat living food, meaning they don't eat vegetables that have been picked. Even our vegetables, they're pretty much dead. They're sick. They don't eat vegetables that were picked 2 weeks before. If they're going to eat something, they went to the market that day or they went to their garden that day and they ate it. If they're going to eat meat, they don't eat a ton of meat. For example, if 5 people are coming for dinner and they cook meat, the size of the meat is about the size of your thumb. And they'll cook 5 pieces of meat that's the size of your thumb. Period. And everything else is some type of either from a root vegetable or some type of leafy green vegetable or something like that. That's here, and this is a constant diet. And I've had an opportunity to be in that environment for months. And the way, and for me, I thought I had a really good diet, but I really started to get the state of the food that we eat here is that food is dead. Yeah. No different if I go back in my backyard and get some kale and I make a salad. And the moment I put that kale in my mouth, which is different than if I go to the store, compare. If I go to the store and buy some kale, I go to my garden, put it in the salad, eat it, my body literally bursts, like poof, does that. I can literally feel the energy as opposed to going to the grocery store getting, quote unquote, some organic kale. It's the food is different. And to grow your food is simple. You know, Fire asked about insects. I don't use any type of pesticide. You know, I allow the bugs to eat what they want to eat. They don't eat it all by the time I eat it. They eat whatever they want. You know, whatever they've eaten, I don't take those leaves and throw them away. I eat them too. They may have eaten a little hole. I just cut it, clip, and take it in the house and eat it.
Mhm.
So there's a huge difference in food. And I argue just based on my personal experience and being able to compare being in one environment, being in another environment, the food that we eat here is really dead. Because by the time you buy the food, who knows how long it was actually processed.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have no clue. And I argue that it's been weeks because most
Mhm.
food was picked prior to it ripening. And so it takes whatever time for it to ripen, maybe a week or two, who knows, whatever that is. So there's a huge difference.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And
yeah,
that's when you get that life enzyme in your body. I mean, you
right,
can't deny it. You know, when
right.
you get that hit, you get that hit. It's different.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. If you like, there's a guy down who has he sells like the produce that he makes himself down the street. You buy one of his watermelons and you buy one out of the store. I don't care if the watermelon reads organic, doesn't matter. You put one of his watermelons in your mouth, it literally explodes like poof. This is like your
Fresh.
body will literally start to fire off, literally.
Mhm.
So what I do is I go down, take my $12, buy a watermelon. Half of it I eat, the other half I make watermelon juice, and I just drink it in the morning. Even the juice, it's like your body becomes addicted to what is actually 100% natural and fresh. Period.
Mhm.
That's what my body does. Like if I eat, it's difficult for me to eat. For example, even chicken, I can taste. If I eat a piece of chicken, I can tell you how old it is. In comparison to if I want chicken, I go in the backyard, process my chicken, and I process the chicken at noon. I am cooking it by 1, and I eat it, and it's a total different taste. It's like night and day, and my body actually responds to it differently, totally different, and it doesn't feel like it's dead. Something going down, whatever that something is. I can feel life as it goes down, as my body processes. So it's literally night and day. Literally.
And another thing we need to remember, you see that fresh look in the supermarket on meats,
Yeah,
oftentimes that's coloring, you know. So, oh, that looks nice and fresh.
yeah,
No, I mean the dye looks nice and fresh. You
right.
know, there's a lot of manipulation done to the foods in the supermarket. So the
Mhm.
closer we can get to the farmer, we're
Yeah,
all going to be the better for it. Yeah, if
yeah. I
we're
mean,
able to grow our own, that is.
right. You can take. So you buy chicken, you go get it out the store, and when you start to clean it, it has this slimy whatever. You go get your own chicken. That's not there. Yes, get a chicken out the store. All this fat you have to remove. I don't remove fat. There's no fat to remove at all. None. The slimy stuff isn't there. The fat isn't there. None of that stuff exists at all. And the reality is, I clean it anyway. I really don't even have to clean that chicken. That's how good it is. That's how fresh it is. Because there hasn't been an opportunity for bacteria to begin to grow. But I clean it anyway. But if I didn't, I just wouldn't do it
Mhm.
because it's a difference between fresh food that you actually process yourself in comparison to, whatever else. The same thing with, I don't raise goats, but if I want some goat, which is not very often, I'll go and buy a goat. It's only $130 for a goat. Bring it home. So have a game and post.
You
Call
know,
my friend.
Poor Billy.
Yeah,
You know,
This guy's
you
like,
stand a chance.
hey, look, this guy Earth is like, hey, Billy, look over there, man. There's your favorite. Billy's like, oh yeah. And then he's looking back like, how could you do this to me? I can see the whole scene, man. I can see the whole scene.
You know what's sad is how our faces crunch up, and I know some people who are not used to earth or anybody's talking about like beheading an animal and then cleaning it, gutting it, and then eating it. You're sick when what's clean is perceived as dirty or nasty.
Yeah.
Like when you don't even when you when your perception of this act is, oh my gosh, how could you do that to that poor little billy goat? When we go to the store and buy a 3-month-old, 90-day-old meat with the USDA pack label on it with food coloring, latent and CO2s and whatever else is in the package to preserve it. And we're like, yeah, man, this is
different.
great. Yeah, this is grade A.
It's
So
sanitized.
Right. This is kosher. I wanted to get a little messy, if we can. I wanted to ask this question to the panel. This question has been asked before, so conversation is not new, but I want to get you all's feedback on. Obviously, the Food and Drug Administration is a joke. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Besides profits, do you all believe that there's a sinister plan that involves food and food supply to keep us fat, sick, and nearly dead? And if so, who would benefit from that?
And before, let me amend Fire's question. We're saying, it's about 9 minutes left. So good job, Fire, of asking that. Like, when the time is ticking.
You count on me, man. If we can answer it quickly, if there is a short answer, is there a short answer?
Well, all of us know that there are lobbyists, capitalist organizations that, pay off senators that influence these governmental agencies, right? So,
right.
That's
like money-driven, profit-driven. I'm asking, is there something more sinister than that says, from a population control perspective, or big pharma who would be a benefactor of providing medicine to sick people?
It's still capitalist, right? What's the difference between that? That's what I'm talking about. Those are the lobbyists.
So I would put a lobbyist, pharma in that bucket. I would put population control in a different bucket. Personally.
A conspiracy bucket. That's what it is. But keep, let me help you out.
Dancing around that word.
Yeah, you really were skating around that, and like that's what it is.
Get in there. Just get in there.
conspiracy.
Yeah. Yes.
So, guys, I would like to hear you guys' thought on it first.
I mean, obviously, Fire has a lot to say about it. So go ahead, Fire.
I'm asking questions. Do I think that? So here's to Waters' point about the conspiracy. Here's what I'm trying to reconcile in my mind, right? I get who benefits from profits? Shareholders, stakeholders. That they come in many forms. Who benefits from an intentional reduction or a management of the Earth's population?
Well, let me answer it like this. Let me just take it a different way. We know that everything is possible, right? And we know the facts that certain foods are good for us and other foods are not. So let's pay attention to the foods that are actually good for us, and then we won't have to even deal with any of that, right?
I think there's some wool over the eyes. You always got to, that like the organic stuff that is seedless. Mm-hmm. But to your point, education and awareness and consciousness and intentionality. Yeah. We can make choices that move us out, have us to operate outside of the system, outside of the machine, and outside of the will of other people. If we really want to get down to it, we do what Earth is doing and what water has done. And I'm not sure if you have a garden as well, Saren, but we would live off of our own land.
Yeah. Put another way, we know that Snickers has high fructose corn syrup and all sorts of chemicals. We know that Oreos has that. We know that the meats have that. But we also know that fruits and vegetables are good for us.
Right.
We also know that teas and certain waters are good for us. So let's stick to the things that we know for sure that are great for us, great for our bodies, and then we can, circumvent to a particular extent, to a great extent, that conspiracy that you're, alluding to, right?
And I
So
think I would definitely agree that that's my sentiment altogether as well. To me, it really doesn't matter. It could be an entire machinery out to get us off of the planet. Whether or not that is true is really irrelevant because at the end of the day, our choices,
Yeah.
how they get to you, you have full control over. So what if you believe that's what it is, then you should be a lot more mindful
Right.
as to what you select. And then the whole notion of conspiracy theories, we all think different things, and there's a pool of thought that we push into that conspiracy category. Nothing is impossible, but we always have a choice.
We always have a choice.
And that's the important thing to remember.
So guys, we got 4 minutes left. What I'd like to hear from you guys really quickly, and we'll have the queen, round it up. What do you guys do in your personal lives to address your own health and well-being on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis? Let's go, Fire.
Quickly, if we can, Therese has 2 comments that really encapsulate my sentiments. The one comment is I have several clients with eating disorders who have that very issue, which is emotional eating, and we call it feeding your feelings. Stay with me. And the second comment is literally giving food to your emotions to keep them quiet. The alternative is to confront those emotions. So
Absolutely.
the reason why I wanted to highlight those is this is brilliant. For me, it's awareness and obedience. It's the consciousness that the food chart, what do they call it? The food pyramid they taught us when we was in elementary school.
Yeah.
And the 2,500 calorie diet, all this crap, that we've been miseducated, right? Like, don't trust what the mainstream media or the commercials or the FDA is telling us. We can't trust it, period, point blank. Second thing is, how does the food make me feel when I ingest it, right? How like, listen to your body. That's the obedience part. So awareness and obedience for me, man. And when I put those 2 together, making these decisions consciously versus feeding my emotions is a lot easier. Otherwise, my body just tells me this ain't it, boss, and it causes projectile vomiting, and you don't want that. You just want to listen to your body and eat those live foods. So awareness and obedience.
Bro, you took much more than your share of 4 minutes, but
that was a minute.
Go ahead, Water.
Dude, there's 5 of us, man. A minute 20 divided by 4. Come on.
A couple minutes over.
Come on, man.
Go ahead, Water.
Come on, man. You know better. Anyway, okay. I should have muted you. Like, you know, they play the music. You know, they start playing the music at the Oscars or whatever, and they mute your mic and turn the music.
You gonna Kanye me?
Yes. You know, this conversation is actually pretty timely. Today is day 2 of my juice fast, so I haven't done this in 2 days, and it's a timely conversation, which is just pretty cool. I like to do that every 6 months just to do part of what Saren's talking about. So Saren's got the whole full package. I'm only doing scratching the surface of what she's talking about. Second thing, man, is that, from a physical perspective, I eat well. I'm pescatarian now. I've been vegan for years in the past, was vegetarian for years in the past. Now I call myself working out, bulking up. From a mental and emotional standpoint, I actually talk to these guys. We have a call once a week talking about what we're dealing with. I actually nourish my relationships, and and I nourish myself with snowboarding, reading, hobbies, chess, those things that I enjoy. So for me, it's a whole mental, spiritual, and physical thing. Earth.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make it as quick as possible. So y'all heard about me. I have a little garden. I got my own chickens, and I bring in goats from time to time. So I eat as 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 close to natural and foods in their original state as possible, as I possibly can. Also, so my diet is really like an 80-20. So I really adopted the diet of my elders, like what they eat, because they're old. Some of them, I just mentioned, like 120, 110, and they look 70, and they're just moving around, and you would never guess that they were that old at all. So I look at, I've read a lot of things. I've been on, you name the diet or lifestyle, I've probably practiced it. But I practice that from reading, not from actually seeing what others are doing, and they're actually living longer, and they're happier and they're healthier. So I've been copying that, and also understanding. For me, when I eat vegetables, I understand the spiritual benefit of vegetables, which most of us never consider.
Yeah.
I eat meat. Meat is purposeful from a spiritual perspective. There's a purpose for eating meat spiritually. I understand what that is. And it's so that's how I balance my life. And it's actually worked better than when I was a vegan, when I was a vegetarian, when I was whatever. This understanding the spiritual component of food and how it benefits you. Because vegetables, they actually raise your spiritual vibration. But you can actually, whenever I see vegans and I look at them spiritually, they all look a certain way, right? I'll get it. That's a long conversation. I want to make it as quick as possible. But I always point out a vegan 50 million miles away because they're not grounded in the way that they need to be grounded. Meat actually grounds you. So there's a balance that exists spiritually. And that's why a lot of my elders, they exist so they spend so much time in the spiritual realm, they have to eat some meat in order to ground them. If not, they'll stay out in this place. But anyway, so that's what I do for the most part. So I'll stick a pin there, but for me, that's just how I move.
I am intentional with my time. I am intentional with what I eat. I go outside early in the mornings. I meditate. I stretch. Sometimes I do yoga, and I certainly walk. I enjoy walking on the lakefront, seeing the water, seeing the birds, seeing the trees, smelling the grass. Sometimes I ground and take my socks and shoes off and walk in the grass. But you have to take your time. We spend so much time giving to other people that we never really take time for ourselves. We have to give time and space for thinking and being creative and having peace of mind and really strategizing our day and our lives. I exercise, like I said, I eat a vegetarian diet. I don't drink a lot of water, but I drink a lot of tea. I try to drink cold pressed juices. And I'll pause on that. We'll circle back and have many conversations about health and well-being, and we'll have Sarah back. But I'll pause right there and give her the last word and have her say what she wants to say to impact our community and talk about the wellness queens.
I think it's important for us to have, just as a takeaway, the importance of being very aware of our choices. Just like Therese mentioned in her comment, a lot of us do things without connecting the dots. We eat a particular way, we avoid moving our bodies, we self-sabotage altogether, and we need to wake up from that. It's not a swift, quick movement for everybody in terms of making a correction, but I often tell people, be very easy and willing to forgive yourself if you slip up. It's not, some persons are able to do this cold turkey and just correct everything right away. And for a lot of us, it is a journey. And even for those of us who have figured out, exactly what works in terms of maintaining our wellness, over time that might change. And so you should entertain the possibility of it shifting and looking different in the future. But it's very important for us to always remember, if we're moving far away from nature, we're moving away from our natural selves. That's fundamental. And as long as we do so, everything that we do will always have a cap. We're not going to be able to succeed on different levels as much as we would if we were actually nourishing ourselves with natural foods, if we were doing the things that really connected us to source, And so I just want to remind all of us. I see a really nice comment there in the here, but anyhow, next time.
You talking about this one? This one from Therese?
That as well as above her,
Oh yeah.
Michelle. Yeah, with the difficulty of getting off of sugars and stuff. The reality is they were created for us to be addicted. And so I completely understand the difficulty with breaking that habit. It's not so much that a person doesn't have a willpower. Oftentimes there's a chemical addiction. So the same way in which we approach persons addicted to drugs, that's the same way, because the truth is it is drug. It is a drug, and so we just have to be mindful. And as long as you're noticing, Michelle, that you're having difficulty with it, it means therefore that it's something that you need to focus on. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it 100% correct, every day. Be very gentle with yourself, forgive yourself, but be mindful. And every day you just consciously make a decision to do better, to do better. And over time, you'll notice that you would have really muscled up your discipline muscle, and so you're able to overcome certain things, but slowly but surely, as a people, again, our lifestyle diseases are taking us out of here. There's no two ways about that. Lifestyle diseases. And when we think about that, as long as you say lifestyle, automatically, therefore, it's a choice. Because, it's not something you're relegated or obligated to face if it's a lifestyle disease. And so, over time, take your time, be gentle with yourself. Just always lean towards nature, because nature isn't going to give you hypertension just off the bat. It's when we mix all the other man-made stuff in it that we find ourselves in problems. So again, I just want to thank you, Elements, for having me on the show. Anytime I'm given the opportunity to share any information that may awaken even one person in terms of our selection, I'm always grateful for it. All right. Thank you so much, Wynn, for the invitation.
Everybody welcome. Everybody say happy birthday to the Queen. Today's her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
Thank
birthday to
you. Thank you.
Yep. So who's next?
Is it me?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then next week, we are going to have a great show. It's going to be about are you the master of your own fate, or is fate driving you? Look at there. Take notes, Win. Take notes. That's how you come up with it off the dome, dog. You just freestyle it. Never leave the show telling people you don't know. Let's freestyle off the top of our dome. So next week, we're going to break this down, whether we're the master of our own fate or whether fate is driving you. Until next week, this is the 4 Elements.
Peace.
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 Good night.